In the 1999 Matrix film, Neo awakens to discover that the humans were being mentally enslaved by soulless beings. Moreover, that these soulless beings were the programmers of everything that the humans believed. They perpetually kept the humans trapped within a false version of reality that allowed them to exploit the humans without any resistance. Ever since the release of that Matrix film, many Black people have intuitively felt that there was a parallel between that film and the current scenario that exists between Black people and the white society. Within this video, I will demonstrate that this to be the case. I will demonstrate that the Matrix film is the truth of what has been done to Black people. It's the Black people's Matrix. I know that this sounds ridiculous to those who have never studied the hidden social sciences that are used for controlling the world and for maintaining dominance. The hidden fact is that the white oppressors often reveals through movies what they've done to Black people. Some describe this practice as being a form of ritual mocking of the victim, but it's actually a practice that allows the oppressors to avoid the law of karma, called revelation of the method. There are hidden rules and principles within the warfare of domination that must be adhered to. The oppressors must make their oppressive tactics available to the oppressed. They therefore often embed them within movies, TV shows, and within books. They don't make the revelation easy to recognize. They do so only enough to meet the threshold necessary to avoid the law of karma. They masquerade it as appearing as being merely entertainment. However, because the oppressive tactics have been made available to the oppressed, when the oppressed do not act upon the knowledge, by default, they've given the oppressors permission to oppress and rule over them. It's a social contract that allows the oppressors to avoid the law of karma, K-A-R-M-A. The first Matrix film is clearly a revelation of the method that allows the white oppressors to avoid the law of karma. I'm going to demonstrate this to be a fact within this video. The white oppressors' objective to mentally enslave the minds of Black people has been witnessed many times throughout history. But I'm going to point out a particular speech that was presented in 1832 to the U.S. founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and Abraham Lincoln by Henry Berry of the Virginia House of Delegates. He said, "We have as far as possible closed every avenue by which the light of truth may enter the minds of the Negro. If we could extinguish their capacity to see any light of truth, our work will be complete. They will then be on the level of the beasts of the field, and we should then be safe. And we can then rule over them forever." That was from Henry Berry. They don't want us to ever gain any truth that can eventually lead to us liberating ourselves. It's also why whenever we attempt to post or share any liberating information amongst ourselves, Facebook blocks it, Twitter deletes it, Google hides it, YouTube bans it, the media censors it, and the white government forbids it. Now I will demonstrate that the oppressors are the soulless beings. Scientists have found that the pineal gland within the oppressors are over 80% calcified and therefore non-functioning. According to many scientists, the pineal gland located in the center of the brain is important not only because it produces melanin, but also because the pineal gland produces the human traits, characteristics, and behaviors that are associated with possessing a soul. This includes sympathy, compassion, empathy, and remorse. is therefore regarded as the principal seat of the soul. Scientists have found that the pineal gland within the oppressors are over 80% calcified and therefore non-functioning. This literally means that 80% of what controls the oppressor's thoughts, decisions, and behaviors in regard to the soul does not work. This scientific finding correlates with their collective behaviors demonstrated throughout history. For throughout history, the oppressors have demonstrated an almost total disregard for the human lives of other groups. Their subjugation, murder, and exploitation of all other groups are unparalleled. There has never been a time in human history where the oppressors have not either exploited millions of people and have contributed either directly or indirectly to the misery, suffering, and deaths of millions. They've killed, pillaged, and raped more people throughout history than all other groups have done so combined. And they haven't changed. Quiet as it's kept and underreported, most violent crimes are in fact committed each year by the oppressors. Most cops are killed each year by the oppressors. The oppressors are also the group more likely to engage in mass shootings. The oppressors are also the group that makes up the highest rate of serial killers. The oppressors are also the group that are more likely to kill a family member for financial gain. The oppressors also makes up the group that is more likely than any other to kill a parent. Those murders are called matricide and patricide. Because they control the flow of information, they've kept these facts away from the public. This is not hate speech, and they'll try to gaslight you and tell you. It's a fact that we've been forbidden through censorship and from sanctions from speaking of. When observing the scientific finding that 80% of where the soul lies within the oppressors is calcified, and then comparing these findings to their horrific history, as demonstrated throughout history, it leads you to make a legitimate question. Is there a correlation between their calcified pineal gland and their behaviors demonstrated throughout history? Moreover, it has forced many to legitimately ask the question, does the oppressors actually have souls, or do they merely impersonate the behaviors and empathy and sympathy? I've just quantified that my opening statement about the oppressors being the soulless ones. From the Matrix film. Now I will prove that we Africans are the true humans that are being mentally enslaved by those soulless beings. For centuries, the oppressors have depicted themselves as being the highest evolved Homo sapiens, while depicting we Africans as being the lowest. They even create a pseudoscience to falsely back this claim up. They do so by, they convey it on their Darwin evolutionary theory charts, which they always placed white skin on the highest evolved level of the chart, and they places the darkest skin on the lowest evolved end. However, that myth has been totally busted by science. According to 2 studies published in the journal Nature that looked at the DNA fossils hidden in the modern human genome, it found that Africans have been scientifically proven as being the only true homogeneous species. Africans' melanated skin color and our hair type have been scientifically proven as being direct result of our Homo sapien DNA. The oppressor's skin color and hair type has been proven as being the direct result of Neanderthal DNA. These studies also reveal that the oppressors retain their Neanderthal DNA, which affects not just their hair and skin, but also their fertility and predisposition to certain diseases and possible other characteristics. The Darwin evolutionary theory chart does not apply to we Africans. Unlike the oppressors and all other groups that evolved from subspecies primates, Africans have instead always been Homo sapiens. The scientific term for all other groups is actually Homo sapiens sapiens. The additional sapiens refers to modern humans that evolved from subspecies primates. Does not include we Africans. The implication of these findings are enormous. This means that the oppressors are literally Neanderthals masquerading themselves as being African Homo sapiens. The hidden reality is that although the oppressors share more physical characteristics with the Neanderthals of ancient Europe than they currently do with we Africans, they've, however, totally detached themselves from their Neanderthal ancestors and have falsely attached themselves onto we Africans. They attach themselves to give themselves a human history. They've explained away our physical differences by creating the false narrative that the oppressors are African albinos that turned white due to migrating to the colder climate of Europe. But that myth has been totally busted. We Africans are the true Homo sapiens. The name Homo sapiens means wise humans. Homo is a Latin word meaning human or man, and sapien derives from the Latin word that means wise or astute. The name, the wise human, is the name they call us. And it is appropriate because long before the oppressors invaded Africa, it was Africans that civilized Europe. All of Greece's scholars, first scholars, were educated by Africans. The world's oldest university, library, manuscript, encyclopedia, human prosthetic, mathematical tools, medical journal, and the world's oldest standing kingdom are all located in Africa. The world's largest wall ever built is not the Great Wall of China. It's actually the Great Wall of Benin and Mali, Africa. It was 4 times larger than the Great Wall of China, and it is recognized as being the largest wall ever built by the Guinness World Record. Africans are also the first to build in stone and to smelt metal. Africans introduced science, writing, mathematics, and philosophy to the world. Africans invented the wheel, paper, the calendar, the concept of 24 hours in a day, the 365-day calendar, the clock, leap year, organized labor, surgical instruments, cosmetic, the plow, black ink, ink pen, shoes, high heel shoes, the condoms, hair wigs, hair dyes, hair extensions, all invented by Africans. Africans invented makeup, the hairbrush, hair comb, the Bretmans, the chisel, toothpaste, door locks, doorknobs, shaving, writing, astronomy, medicine, the solar calendar, paved roads, government. Africans introduced the daily bath to Europeans. You see, your perception is a white deception created by lies that the white side have given you. To conceal the greatness of we Africans, the oppressors concealed the fact that Africa's ancient Egyptians were in fact Africans. However, all scientific evidence proved that they were in fact Africans. The geographical location of Egypt is in Africa. Radiocarbon dating testings have scientifically proven that the ancient kingdom was built by Africans many thousands of years long before the arrival of the first Arabs and the first Europeans during the 7th century. Hair sample testings, melanin concentrating skin testings, bone density testings, and DNA genetic testings have all scientifically irrefutably proven that Africa's ancient Egyptians were in fact Africans. The white society sits upon a throne of white exalting and black marginalizing lies. It's time for you to wake up to our reality. The white society has whitewashed facts. They whitewashed many facts and whitewash history to create a false version of reality that aids them in maintaining their social dominance over Black people. It was determined a long time ago that by withholding these noted facts from Black people, they could condition us to perceive ourselves through a false inferior identity that aids them in maintaining their social dominance over Black people. Through this process, the collective self-esteem of the white masses has been falsely bolstered at the expense of the collective masses of the Black population. Your perception is a white deception. Your mind is captured within the Black people's matrix. It's time to wake up to our reality.